Alright, welcome to this lesson on solving multiple step equations. We are going to master the art of solving multi-step equations here. Every time you solve an equation in this class, I want you to see you follow these steps, okay? Don't skip any steps. We're explaining to you in a very specific way. When you solve an equation, do it exactly how we're telling you. Alright? So, how do you do it? There's a few steps here, and they're all labeled out for you here. You just have to follow them as you go down. The first thing you do is you draw a line down the middle of the equation. So we're going to draw a line right down the middle. I saw some of you doing this in the diagnostic. All right. And then you're going to label one side variables and one side numbers. And why are we doing that? We want to put numbers on one side and variables on the other. Now, how do you decide which side is which? I will tell you. Whichever side has the bigger variable, that is the side you put the variables on. So on this side there's 5x, on this side there's 3x. Alright, so this side has the bigger variable, the 5x. We're going to put all the variables on this side. If we look on this side, right, this now has to be our side for the numbers. Alright, and let's put some notes here, okay? This has the bigger variable, so that's why it's the variable side, okay? The second step here, after we've labeled our sides, is to move the variables onto the variable side. So this 5x is already onto the variable side. We don't have to do anything. But now we have to move this variable to the variable side. So 3x has to move over, right? It's got to come over this line. And the way you do that is you subtract it over, right? Because this is positive, we subtract 3x from both sides. All right. This cancels out, and now 5x minus 3x is just 2x. Bring down the negative 4. Let's bring down our numbers. Okay. And just 12 is left because that canceled out. Well, now we got to move our numbers to the number side, right? So the 12 is already on the number side, you see? But the 4, that's a problem. That's on the variable side. So to move it over, we're going to have to use the opposite inverse operation. I'm sorry. So what we're going to do is, since this is minus 4, we're going to add 4 to both sides. All right, we're adding 4 to both sides. Okay, when we do that, this goes away. And now we just have 2x is equal to 12 plus 4 is 16. Now you should be knowing how to solve this. The way to solve 2x equals 16, you just divide both sides by 2 now, whatever in front of x, and you get your final answer. These cancel. X is equal to 16 divided by 2 is 8. So if you follow these steps, you are going to be just fine. Alright, now we're going to do a few more practice ones. If you feel comfortable with this, you can move on to the practice, that's fine. But if you want a few more practice problems, here we go. Alright, so here are the steps. You draw the line, label the sides, put the variables on the variable sides, put the numbers on the number side, and if you follow these steps, you will be perfectly doing great. So let's give this guy a shot over here, okay? Let's give this guy a good old shot. So we're going to start by drawing the line. Alright, we draw our line down the middle, and we're going to put that one on the top, right? We're going to figure out where to put our variables and where to put our numbers. Now, if you look over here, 5h and 3h, this side has the bigger variables, so we're going to put the variables on this side and the numbers on this side. Okay? Now, the next step is to move the variables to the variable side. The 5h is already on the variable side. The 3h has to move over. So to do that, we're going to subtract 3h from both sides. Subtract 3h from both sides. This goes away. We're going to put a line through it. And now we do 5h minus 3h is 2h equals 2. The next step is to move the numbers to the number side, right? So if you look here, the 2 is already on the number side, but this negative 8, this 8 over here is on the variable side. So we have to move that over. So to do that, well, we're going to add 8 to both sides. Why am I adding it? Because if this is minus, we have to do the opposite operation. We add. Okay? And so from there, we get, this cancels out, and we get 2h is equal to 10. Final step, we divide both sides by 2, and we get h is equal to 5. Okay? Let's check that out. Let's see if that even worked, okay? If we plug in 5, we should get the same answer. That's how you know if you're right or not, all right? So you should always check your work. So if h equals 5, all right, we're going to plug that in. So let's see, 5h minus 8 is equal to 3h plus 2. Instead of writing h, let's put 5s. So it's 5 times h is 5 minus 8 equals 3. And we've got, remember, I'm just plugging 5 in for my h's plus 2. Let's simplify this. 5 times 5 is 25 minus 8 is equal to 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2. Okay. 25 minus 8 is 17. 15 plus 2 is 17. So yes, that did work. All right, let's try another. Let's try some more practice problems, okay? Let's keep going with this. Let's see how good we can do. So, for this guy, we're going to start with step 1. We draw a line down the middle, right? Over here. Which side has the bigger variable? This side, right? So we're going to put the variable on this side. Remember, this is 8x, this is 4x, this is the bigger variable side. Variables on this side, numbers go on this side. To move the variable over, what do? We're going to subtract 4x. Let's subtract 4x. Okay? This goes away. 8x minus 4x is just 4x. We bring the 10 down and equals, since that went away, negative 2. Don't forget to bring the negative down. All right. Well, the negative 2 is already on the number side, but the 10 is on the variable side, so we have to move it over. So let's subtract 10 from both sides. All right. And we get 4x is equal to, this cancels out, negative 2 minus 10. You should have a calculator, or you can do it in your head. You get negative 12. To finish it off, we're just going to divide both sides by 4, and we get x is equal to negative 3. And you know what? You got to check it. I want you to check on yourself. Pause the video, see if you got it right. Pause the video, okay? Okay, and if you see here, you should have done exactly the same thing over here, plugged it in, and saw that negative 14 equals negative 14. You got it correct. All right. Let's work on this final problem right here, okay? And this one looks a little hard, but don't worry, here to help you, okay? So, once again, nothing changes. We are going to draw a line, and before we do what we do before, put the variables on the variable side, numbers on the number side, we have to do one additional step, and that additional step ties into the lesson earlier, which is we have to combine like terms. If you can combine like terms on a certain side, then you do it. So if you look on this side of the equation, we have an 8x, a 10, and a negative 4x. We can combine the 8x and the negative 4x together, right? And when we combine those, we get 4x. So the first step here was actually combine like terms. Now let's look at the other side. If we look at the other side, we have a 7, a 6x, and a negative 19. And in this case, we can combine the 7 and the negative 19 together, right? And so what we get is 7 plus negative 19 is negative 12. So this is going to be 6x minus 12. Well, now that we combine like terms, we can start solving the problem. So remember, if you have more than 2 terms, right, if you have this long complicated, if you can't combine like terms, you combine them. All right, so now that we combine like terms, let's figure out which side is the variable side, which side is the number. Well, now this side has the bigger variable, and this side is 6x, this is 4x, so we're going to put the variables on this side, numbers on this side. Okay? So the way we're going to solve this is we're going to move the variable over. So since this is the variable side, we need to move the 4x over. Let's subtract 4x from both sides. Okay? This cancels. We get 10 is equal to 2x minus 12. Well, now let's see, the 10 is on the number side, he's okay, but this negative 12 is on the variable side now, right? This is the variable side, so we have to get that to go away. So we're going to have to add 12 to both sides. So we add 12 to both sides, that goes away. We get 2x equals 22. To solve it, we just divide both sides by 2, and we get x is equal to 11. And I want you to check this, okay? Now once again, if you feel like you get this, move on. There's one final problem if you want some more help. All right, so once again, let's start. Let me move this down for a second. Oh, all right, let's give this one a shot. We're going to start by drawing our line down the middle and on top. Now look over here. Once again, we can combine like terms, so we will. So on this side, we can combine like terms, and we can do that with 8y and -2. Since those are like terms, and they're on the same side of the equation, we're going to make that 6y plus 2 is equal to 9y minus 1. There's nothing on this side to combine. Now I want to make also clear that you can't combine over the line. You can only combine things that are on the same line. Since 8y and -2 are on the same side, that's why we're able to combine them.